All local, all morning. You're watching Fox 61 Morning News.
All right, 6 o'clock. Good morning. It is Tuesday, March 3rd. We have more winter weather heading our way, and dozens of districts have already closed school for the day. Glad you're with us on Fox 61 and Fox 61 Plus. I'm Bridget Piorlo.
And I'm Erica Arias. Yeah, the timing for this is really the problem. We've seen in just the last half an hour, closings go from 20 to 30 to 40. Now we're somewhere in the 50s.
Oh, wow. I mean, I don't envy those who have to make this decision. The ride home is going to be a bit tricky, a bit dicey in spots. So I think this morning, if you're looking out your window and you're saying, well, where's the precipitation? It is on the way. And between about 9 and 10 o'clock is when we expect and anticipate to see some snow develop. There will be periods of time where the roads get coated, up to about an inch or two of snow is expected. And then we see a changeover, rain along the shoreline. But for areas inland, there could be a period of time where we get this mix of sleet and freezing rain, which would certainly be a concern with allowing for extra travel time. And we're already seeing those school disruptions this morning. On our satellite and radar picture, we are quiet and we have mostly clear skies right now. But if we zoom out to the bigger picture, there's that system that'll be knocking on our doorstep momentarily. So you'll see that precipitation chance does increase mainly after about 9 and 10 o'clock. It overspreads the state with a period of snow at first, and then eventually we see this changeover towards that evening commute. That could lead to those icy spots, especially in our higher elevations with some snow at first, and then there's that icy glaze on top of it. Our snow forecast here, a quick coating in spots. There could be maybe up to about a slushy inch here along the immediate shoreline, or at least for areas towards the northern 4 southern counties, I suppose is how you could describe it. But either way, it looks like 1 to 2 inches. Again, not a blockbuster in terms of snow, but we know that it doesn't take much to coat things up and cause some issues out there. Temperature wise right now, around 7 in Willimantic. It is 9 right now in Norwich and 11 degrees in Torrington. So moving forward for the kids that are going to school this morning, mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures are in the teens, and for the ride home, there will likely be some periods of snow mix and then eventually some rain. After that, temperatures will be around 50 degrees after a lingering issue Wednesday morning. In higher elevations, we have a mostly to partly sunny sky. Temperatures get up around 50. It turns out to be a rather nice day. We'll talk about where we go from here. Your full 7-day coming up in just a bit. Here at 6:02, we are largely quiet with no incidents on the roadways this morning. So we like to see that here for 6 o'clock. A live look outside various locations like in West Hartford, standard delays, but not just yet. Over in Meriden on 91, that looks okay this morning. Westport also seems to be running smoothly, as well as in New Haven. A live look outside in Westport, that looks fine. And your drive times from Bridgeport into Fairfield around 9 minutes. So that's certainly an indication that volume is starting to pick up here. Over to you.
Rachel, thanks. We are following developing news this morning on the officer-involved shooting in Hartford that happened last week.
The Inspector General has now identified the man who was shot and released a report that outlines the moments leading up to the shooting.
We're checking in with Fox 61's Glenn Kittle. He's joining us live in Hartford with more on where the investigation stands this morning. Glenn, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Bridget, Erica. We're learning now that the person who was shot is 55-year-old Stephen Jones. We're told that police were called to the scene for a mental health emergency. Now, according to the report put out by the Inspector General, that call came in by a family member of Jones who said he had cut himself with a knife. Officer Josue Charles found Jones on his front stoop to his home when he arrived on the scene. That report says the moments leading up to the shots being fired, the first officers that arrived on scene calmly arrived on the scene and asked Jones to drop the knife several times. After Jones appears to not follow the order in the video, from here, Jones approaches Officer Charles at his squad car. Charles then attempts to tase Jones. However, his attempts are unsuccessful. Jones, still with the knife in his hand, then lunged toward Officer James Prignano, who just arrived on the scene. Now, moments after that, officers formed a semicircle around Jones, where the situation seemed to calm down for a few moments. Then the officer who shot Jones, James Magnano, arrived on the scene just 30 seconds before the shots were fired.
Hey, drop the knife. Drop the knife. Do you have a taser? No, drop the knife. 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 Woman, you're gonna get shot. Drop the knife. Drop the knife. Drop the knife. Drop it. Last time. Drop the knife. Drop it.
We paused the video just before the shots were fired. Magnano fired 9 shots. Now, according to the Office of the Inspector General's, this case is still under investigation, and Jones remains in the hospital in critical condition. We'll continue to keep monitor on this situation and bring you the latest updates as we learn more. Live in Hartford, Glenn Kittle, Fox 61.
All right, Glenn, thank you. Middletown council members met last night to discuss a resolution that will prohibit a law enforcement officer to arrest or detain someone based on an administrative warrant.
It falls under the Connecticut Trust Act. Fox 61's Kayla Cade is live at the Middletown Police Department with more on the resolution and what decision council members came to. Kayla.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, with the meeting last night, during the meeting last night, 8 council members voted yes in favor for this resolution, while 4 voted against it. Now, with this resolution passing, the city of Middletown declares all federal law enforcement agencies to cease all immigration raids with masked and unknown agents. They also will have to limit their immigration enforcement actions in public places unless there are undocumented immigrants who have or are suspected of having committed felony offenses or crimes of violence or are known gang members and or otherwise pose a serious threat. And that's according to city officials in Middletown. Now, Shanae Fulton was one of the council members in support of this resolution, and she says the ICE agents wearing masks and unknown agents reminds her of what we've experienced in the past.
So for me, I'm looking at this like ICE right now is targeting Black and brown people and communities of color and immigrants, as well as harming non-immigrants for their alliances. So for me, I will be in support of this because I think that this is really important, and this is for our safety of our community and for our immigrants. So I encourage my colleagues to do the same.
Now, coming up, you'll hear from a council member who was not in support of this resolution passing. I'll tell you more about it coming up. In Middletown, Kayla Cade, Fox 61.
All right, Kayla, thanks for that update there. 6:07 now. And happening today, the man charged in the death of an 11-year-old girl found in New Britain has another court appearance today. Prosecutors allege that Jonathan Anita and his former girlfriend, Carla Garcia, starved and abused Garcia's daughter, Mimi, until her death in the fall of 2024, but her remains were not discovered till a year later. The judge noted evidence including Anita's palm print on the bin where the body was stored and testimony suggesting a conspiracy to hide the girl from public view.
Philip Hughes, a 42-year-old technology education teacher and assistant band director in Waterbury, faces a judge this morning. He's been charged with 1 count of harmful communication with a minor. Investigators say that Hughes sent inappropriate messages to a 16-year-old female student between December 23rd and December 30th of last year. Hughes is on paid administrative leave from Waterbury Public Schools. At an Oxford Quaker Farm school will reopen today after workers conducted mold testing on Monday. The district began testing for mold and air quality issues after last month's power outages, frozen pipes, and a heat disruption. Enviromed Services will take samples throughout the entire school as students and faculty workers continue. Normally, however, 2 rooms where mold was detected will remain closed.
And we continue to follow the developing situation in Iran, where the death toll is rising in an expanding war.
A 6th American service member has died after a counterstrike hit a military base in Kuwait. The U.S. State Department has ordered the evacuation of non-emergency personnel and family in 6 Gulf countries, with Bahrain and Jordan being the latest. In Saudi Arabia, the U.S. Embassy in Riyadh has been struck by drones. That resulted in a small fire and some minor damage. Meantime, Iran has closed the Strait of Hormuz, and the military says that any vessels trying to pass through will be attacked. Israeli strikes have targeted Iran's state TV broadcaster and other areas in Tehran and Lebanon.
And as the conflict in the Middle East escalates, a group of Connecticut churchgoers are now trying to find a way back home.
A little over a week ago, Bishop Jeffrey Mello of the Episcopal Church in Connecticut led parishioners on a pilgrimage to Jerusalem. This was amid ongoing strikes, and the group has since taken refuge in Jordan. Fox 61's Aaron Coogan has more.
Well, in the age of social media, parishioners across the state are following along in real time, praying for the safe return of some of their own. Today, we woke up in the relative safety of Amman, Jordan. A post to Connecticut Bishop Jeffrey Mello's Facebook page read Monday afternoon, quote, "We're still hopeful we will return to the U.S. in the next day or so," end quote. It's a saga members of the Episcopal Church have been monitoring closely. Nearly a dozen people from Connecticut now stuck in the Middle East amidst back and forth airstrikes between the U.S., Israel, and Iran. Our calls overseas going unanswered and visits to the church back here at home leading us to the latest information on social media. An update from the Holy Land. Another post dated March 1st writes, after a day of sheltering in place at St. George's in Jerusalem, our ECCT pilgrims were able to cross over into Jordan at the famous Allenby Bridge border crossing. The airport in Amman is still open and we're waiting for the first available flight. We hope to be able to return home this week. It was February 21st that Bishop Mello, alongside Reverend Ryan Fleener with St. Luke's Parish in Darien, made their first posts about the group embarking on the transformative pilgrimage to the Holy Land. A week into their trip, however, alarms blared and warned of imminent international conflict. The terrifying hours to follow documented and shared in real time. Dear beloved in the Episcopal Church in Connecticut, a post reads from this past Saturday. As you may have already seen, Israel and the United States launched a preemptive strike on Iran several hours ago. Our group of pilgrims was in Bethlehem when the alarm sounded, and we have returned to St. George's in Jerusalem, where we are safe and secure, sheltering in place. Israeli airspace is currently closed, and we are exploring our options to return home as quickly as possible. The post goes on to explain that one of the goals of the pilgrimage was to stand in solidarity with those in the Holy Land who regularly live with threats of violence and insecurity. Bishop Mello sharing, quote, in this tense moment, we're proud to do just that, end quote. Back home, dozens have offered prayers and well wishes to those stuck overseas. Anxiously waiting for updates on their brothers and sisters, special worship services have also been held on the travelers' behalf. The main concern now remains the Middle Eastern airspace. As fighting intensifies, flights in and out of Jordan, where the group is stationed, have all been canceled through at least 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday. In Meriden, Aaron Coogan, Fox 61.